Today we're going to be showcasing the 5-star win unit in BRONYA. She is amazing, guys, and she was actually my first 5-star unit that I pulled in the beginner banner. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Also, make sure you guys subscribe and like the video. Okay, right now I do have her at level 40, guys, remember that. And I don't have her in with her most optimal light cone, which is basically like a weapon from Genshin Impact. Right now this is a 3-star light cone, and it's also only level 20 out of 30, but it's really good because every time she uses an attack or gets hit, she gets 8 energy. Now, the reason why this is so good is because you want her to get a bunch of energy. And the reason why that's so good is because you want to be able to use your ultimate. And what your ultimate does, guys, it increases your attack of all allies by 38% and increases their crit damage by 12% of BRONYA's crit damage plus another flat 12%. So what this is saying is you're going to want to build her with a lot of crit damage. So you can go ahead and grab 12% of BRONYA's crit damage and share it across your team, which equals to more damage. Now, guys, even though right here it says 38%, there's also one thing I want you guys to keep in mind. There's this thing right here called traces, and basically as long as you're upgrading these, your abilities and your percentages will go higher. So for example, this is her ultimate trace, and right now I only have it at level 2, but if I get it to level 3, it'll actually increase to a 40% increase of attack, and then also a flat rate of crit damage buff of 13%. So this can actually go even higher, guys, so keep that in mind. These numbers can go even higher. This is just a very basic showcase showing off what BRONYA can do at this state of the game, but again, she has even more potential than what it seems. I also do want to mention, guys, in the traces, yes, you have your normal abilities here and skills that you can go ahead and level up, but each of these sections right here, they have a very unique ability tied to the character that you can actually unlock. For example, this first ability called Military Might. So when you unlock this ability, when BRONYA is on the field, all allies deal 10% more damage. So that's a 10% increase more damage that BRONYA is giving to her entire team, which is amazing. Then for her second one is called Battlefield, and at the beginning of the battle increases all ally defenses by 20% for 2 turns. Now, not only is she amplifying your team's damage, she's also amplifying their defense by a really good margin, which is 20%. The downside of that is that it's only for the beginning of the battle, but she's still at least providing some defense. Still really good. And then for her last unique ability from the trace is called Command, where all her basic attacks are guaranteed to crit because they're at 100%. That's amazing because you're going to be building a bunch of crit damage on her, and all her basic attacks are going to be critting. So you're going to see some real nice chunky numbers from her for being a support / pseudo single target damage dealer. So amazing stuff. And for her relics, guys, this is basically like artifacts from Genshin. Right now I only have a 4-set bonus. I don't have anything enhanced either because I'm very limited on resources that I have right now. But the 2-piece bonus that I am getting from this is giving me 10% attack, and the 4-piece bonus is getting me a speed increase of 6% and basic attack damage by 10%. I haven't been able to farm up all the relics or anything like that. So this is the set that I gave her right now that I feel like she'll benefit the most because it's giving her the speed bonus, which it's going to be really good for her because you're going to want to take as many turns with her as much as possible so you can go ahead and try to proc your ult. Also, another thing that assists her with taking turns is her talent right here, guys, is after she uses her basic attack, BRONYA's next action will be advanced by 16%. Again, all these numbers that you're seeing here from her skills can get even higher because this used to be at 15%, now it's at 16%. I don't know exactly what the max number is or what the max level of trace is. Once I get there, I'll let you guys know. But let's go ahead and get into battle so I can show you a little bit more of BRONYA's kit. So for her first ability, guys, as you guys can see, it's a basic attack that does wind damage. It's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory, but that's not the ability I want to go over. I actually want to go over her E ability, which costs skill points. And this is very, very strong. It's called Combat Redeployment. Now what this does is it dispels one of the debuffs from your allies, and then it also gives them immediate action. So this is the turn meter, and what that means is it actually grabs one of your allies even though they're all the way in the back of the line, like Herta is here, for example. You see how Herta is here, she's all the way in back of this turn meter. Now if you use this ability on her, she will actually go ahead and skip to the front. Now as you guys can see, she just skipped to the front right before I use that ability. and if I don't, she's gonna be here and just going up normally until her turn comes around based on her speed and other things, right? So this gives you the ability to go ahead and skip one of your allies to the front of the line. This also increases their damage as well, so this is really good. Now there's another key thing I want to go over this ability, guys, that I just found out, is that when you get someone's turn, like I am with Herda won't actually lose her spot. It'll actually jump her and make her take her turn next, right after BRONYA is done, let her go, and then Herda, let's say for example if she was here in the middle, she'll just go right back to the middle. She won't actually go all the way back down here, because yeah, she'll take a turn, but it won't count as her actual turn. That's something I have noticed, which is huge, guys. So potentially you can give a character like 2 turns in one whole turn rotation meter, which is wild, guys. So this is why you want BRONYA to take those turns so she can go ahead and keep pushing your people. Now, one thing you have to also take into consideration, it does count one skill point for you to be able to do this. But let's go ahead and use her ability here, and so we can go ahead and skip her. We're just gonna go ahead and skip her to the front of the line. Now Herda is here in front of the line. She took the turn, and she also got the damage buff increase right here of 39%. It only lasts for 1 turn though, but that's all you need because your unit is gonna go ahead and get that turn. So we're gonna go ahead and just use our E here, guys. We're gonna bop them here, right? Bop, bop, bop. Very nice. Now we're gonna go ahead and tank this up real quick. But as you guys can see, Herda never lost her place in the turn meter. She actually, now she gets her turn again. It didn't show as clean because she was all the way back here anyways. But if she was more here towards the front, like let's say if it was BRONYA and Herda was the next one up, if BRONYA used her E on Herda, it would have gave her the turn. And then once she was done, Herda was done with her turn, her real turn would have came about, and then she would have took it. So I know it's a little confusing, but it's a really, really good ability that had that feature in it that I didn't even expect, because in most games, when you give someone their turn and you push them in the turn meter, that counts as their actual turn. In this game, it does not. That gives BRONYA even more value with that ability. So that's such a good ability, guys. Now another reason why you want her to push herself forward for BRONYA is because you want her to be able to get her ultimate gauge filled up. And this ultimate basically gives all your allies attack and crit, like I said, which is really, really strong, guys. And it flows really well with her talent. For every basic attack she does, she will push herself 15% up. So as she's taking turns and rotating and using abilities, she's gaining energy, and she's also rotating your people with her E. I don't know what's the best light cone on her, but for the light cone I have, it recycles and gives her lots of energy with this. So it's a pretty good ability. So we're gonna go ahead and use her first attack here. It's her basic attack. Now we have her ability, guys. So let's go ahead and show that here, guys. It's a really nice looking animation, and this is how it looks when you go ahead and buff your entire allies, give them more crit and crit damage. It doesn't give you crit rate though, so you're still gonna want to find someone that buffs the crit rate, or just build good crit rate on your damage dealers so you can go ahead and take advantage of that crit damage boost that you're getting. But I believe BRONYA will be even more effective if you give her a lot of crit damage, because again, it flows really well with her ultimate and she shares that crit damage with her team. And for her basic attacks, when you don't want to use your E, because you do have to use a skill point to use your E, you're going to want to use your basic attacks sometimes to either break or just to gather up some more skill points. You're going to want to use your basic attack, which is going to do a decent amount of damage because of all the crit damage that you're going to have on her. And she's basically going to be doing a lot of damage and being able to break targets even better and even faster. And the last thing I do want to just mention on top of what I said earlier, even though her E does cause a skill point, you're going to want to keep in mind how many skill points you have when you're using your E, because if you use your E and you only have 1 skill point left, and you bring up your damage dealer to come through and try to do their E ability, this ability does cost a skill point, so you won't be able to use their E. So keep that in mind. I found myself doing that mistake from time to time. Keep in mind on how many skill points you have and stuff, and if you should rotate your character or not. These are just these little things that make you think before you do them, because it would be really OP if this didn't cost a skill point. Now we're gonna go over her Eidolon, guys, which is equivalent to constellations in Genshin Impact. Remember how I just finished talking about how her E doesn't give you a skill point and would be really strong if it did? Well, her E1 fixes that, guys, because her E1 gives Bronya a 50% chance to get a skill point whenever she does use her E ability. And this ability is on a 1-turn cooldown, so you're going to use it only once every turn for Bronya, which is still strong, guys, because it is a 50% chance, but it's still a chance to get that skill point. So it's still kind of gambly in a sense if you do want to push your character up if you only have 1 skill point left. But at least you know you'll have a dice roll or a coin flip of a chance to try to get that skill point. Then for her E1, guys, after the ally targeted by Bronya's skill takes action, their speed is increased by 30% for 1 turn. So after she uses this ability on someone and pushes them to 100%, remember that that's not their actual turn. That's just basically an extra turn that they're getting. But on their actual turn meter, once they take that extra turn, they'll go back to their original turn placement where they were. And they're going to come back and have the speed buff to help them push themselves to get their actual turn. So that's actually really good as well. It's only for 1 turn, but it's still really good. I can see real good synergy with her and Seele here, because Seele loves speed and getting them extra turns. Her E3 is just a boost in damage overall. Whenever one of your allies breaks someone with wind weakness, she will actually go ahead and follow up and do wind damage equal to 80% of her attack, and it only can be triggered by 1 turn. Not too bad, right? And then her E5 is going to be a more damage increase in just her abilities. And then her E6, guys. So for this Eidolon, what this does is, guys, her E ability was also able to put a damage boost, like I told you guys, and it was only for 1 turn. Now this actually lasts for 2 turns, guys. So that's actually very good. So the longer the better. It doesn't just come off once that person gets that turn or whatever. It's going to be very nice to have that extra turn. But there you have it, guys. Bronya is a great support that buffs her teammates and also manipulates their turn bars so they can go ahead and take extra turns, and also cleanses them at the same time. She also has a technique, guys, which she can do right before going into the battle. Is if you press her E ability, she actually also further increases their attack by 15%, which is really strong because she's already doing that, like I said earlier. I think Bronya is a strong unit. She is a standard banner unit. She is in the beginner banner as well. She's definitely a very strong support, and she's very valuable to any team, to be honest. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think about Bronya down below, and I will see you guys next time. It's your boy Jada. I'm out. Peace.